Hello.
Hello.
My name's Will.
And my name is Johnny.
Together
we're Will
and
Johnny.
Hey, hey everybody. Since we're sitting in a hotel
We
on an airport, we thought
Yeah.
both travelers, it might be a very interesting topic to cover. Hotels and the way how hotels have to reinvent themselves. And we just had a lovely
Yeah, I mean-
experience, haven't they?
So being presented with the bill
Yes.
for our cups of tea, because the tea salon is closing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which I always thought was tea time in England, but never mind. There's an absolute desperate need for hotels to reinvent, as there are with shopping. I mean, let's be fair. We live in a world where hotels, shopping centres, the concrete, the steel, the glass of that building needs to change what it's doing, I think.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
So I'm sort of thinking we're going to spend the next 15 minutes talking a little bit about that, because actually it's super relevant to developers. We're all talking about mixed use. We're all talking about bringing in other things, medical, hotels, you name it, into the traditional places. But hotels is not just a simple whack it in and it's going to work.
I'm sure we have a ton of experience and examples, but share what is a great experience? What stands out
From a
the
guest
experiences
perspective?
From a guest
Okay.
perspective,
The one that blew me away most of all, I was staying in the 25 Hours Hotel in Hamburg, my beloved Hamburg, home of ECE, as you know, and I'm just in love with that place. And I decided to stay in the 25 Hours because we had an event going on in the centre of town. And I'd stayed there 3 times before, and I'd had a really grotty journey, really difficult journey getting there. And it was pouring with rain, unusual for Hamburg, not.
never happens.
And I ended up turning up at the reception area, soaking wet. And the lady behind the bar said, "Hello, Jonathan, how are you?" when I gave her my name. And then from that, and it seemed like she knew me. And she had never met her before. And she said, "Look, what's your favourite drink?" And I said, "Well, actually, it's Tanqueray 10 gin, slice of lime, 3 cubes of ice, Fever Tree tonic. That's my favourite drink." She went, "Oh, that sounds lovely. That sounds great. Well, you can have one of those a little bit later." And she said, "And what are you going to do now?" And I said, "Well, actually, I'm going to go to the bar and I'm going to get one." She went, "Oh, that's great. The bar's just down there." I said, "Yeah, I know where it is." Anyway, I walked down to the bar, and this guy leans over and goes, "Mr. Doughty?" I went, "Yes." I said, "I've just got your gin and tonic here.
That's
Fever
lovely.
Tree, Tanqueray, 3 cubes of
lovely.
ice, slice of lime." She'd actually, as we were talking, messaged him in the bar, and I sat there, and it was like the wet clothes came off, and all the stress of the day came off, and that nailed it. Because the room's interesting, it's a bit funky, it's got a bit of a sort of nautical theme to it, but actually the people.
I think.
people.
I mean, we talked about this so many times. I think this is just hitting it on the nail. It's a customer experience. It's unexpected. It's very personal. It's a very individual experience, kind of copied for somebody else in the same way. And you walk away and you never forget it because you have to share it all the time. Talking about this all the time what is a great experience for a customer? A great experience for a customer is something which means something to you personally. The room has to have certain comfort, and we can argue, is it a big room, a small room, is it a big bathroom, but that doesn't matter. It's this very individual experience which you take away with you to share with other people because it makes you special.
It so doesn't matter. I mean, I lose count of the number of hotel nights I spend. I'm either on a plane or in a hotel.
Yeah.
But when I'm in the hotel, apart from getting my laptop out and knocking out a few emails and then sleeping, that's it. And so, the reason I stay at the Scandic Hotel in Berlin is because I like the people there, and they're nice and they welcome me. The rooms are not the best thing in the world. And I think that's the challenge that our industry is now facing in property, is that we want to put hotels in. Which one? Which brand? Which company? And then what F&B? And I think this is where, again, going back to Germany, I'm so impressed by Motel One. Because that business absolutely nails it every time.
Every time.
And in the UK as well. Although, interesting fact, in the UK, every Motel One has coffee and tea making facilities in the room. unique
Yeah.
for Motel One, only in the UK, because only in the UK will people stay in hotels with tea and coffee making facilities in the room. And you see, that's where they learnt and they sorted it. But they absolutely do a brilliant breakfast, and that's it when it comes
Motel
to food.
One is a great example for what has happened in that environment, I think, because both travelers travel over 100 nights a year and more into different places. Of course, it's important where you stay, but and usually you would have picked a higher category, something which has which kind of guarantees you to a certain extent, yes, that will be great. And then suddenly a concept like Motel One appeared, which was in a different category, but it gave you everything you needed. But what they got so right is this whole entrance, the way how you feel when you enter the place, the bar, the food, whatever else. So it didn't really matter that it was not a 300 or 400 euro a night stay. It is suddenly actually in a very affordable range, and it's so comfortable and so accommodating for what I need as a traveler. So I think they've done a really good job. So congratulations, Motel One. I really like the concept.
It's completely the opposite to. I don't look for expensive hotels. When I'm away with the family, we'll look for somewhere nice that does it.
Of course.
So whether it's the Atlantis Dubai or whatever, something that's really way out there and is going to give a super family package. But as a traveller, I fell in love with Zoku. Okay, Zoku to me was just like the best place ever, because the room has got everything that I want. I've even got pens and paper to draw on in the room. I've got a kitchenette. So I can even make my own cooking.
Oh, here we go.
I can do my own stuff. But they've got a great restaurant. They've got a great bar. They've got great social space. And I stayed in Vienna at the Zoku there when I was at IAPA, the show. And it was just the most amazing. I was there for 4 days. The most amazing stay. Got to know the people. I think one night I cooked in my room. One night I had a takeaway. One night I was out with people. Another night I was out with people. And the bed's above the storage. And you pull the stairs out and you climb up the stairs. I mean, it's just like such a genius idea. And I think lots of people are copying that now. We're seeing people who are now building apartments, so residential, student accommodation, using that incredibly clever designed model to get the very best out of the space. That, to me, is where the future's going in terms of the accommodation. But where's the future in food, in hotels? There are a million brands out there now. Well, not quite, but it feels like it.
Feels like it. Yeah? And I think we touched on this before. There was a time when you felt that food in hotels is gone. You couldn't get a proper restaurant in a hotel. The only thing you found was a Starbucks, in some parts a McDonald's. Nothing wrong with the brands, just saying not necessarily what I'm looking for when I'm coming home after a long day of travel. Now, in the last couple of years, everyone can see it. Restaurants are coming back. They're kind of, it's almost like an old Las Vegas, right? You have to stay in the place. You spend the money in the place because it's just an extension of the experience. So if the hotel does it right with you at the beginning, the way how you book, the way how you arrive, then the restaurant is just a logic extension of that.
London did that really well, didn't it? I mean, it put the Michelin star chefs in. It gave an amazing culinary experience, but of course you're not going to eat there every night.
That's the thing.
So it's that, and you take my hat off to people like Pesca, who have now found in their own home country very successful operations within other people's hotels,
and now
as
even
well as their restaurants.
What is it in Cannes with Hilton and other things, which made Hilton the operator, right? Kind of saying, I do something which is not necessarily, because I think this is where I think it is relevant to talk about, is it's not the Michelin star restaurant which I need every day. No. It's this element where I feel welcomed. Yeah. I know I have good food, it's good atmosphere, and it allows me to arrive in a place. Because as a traveler, because most of us, when we travel for work, right? We're not always travel for vacation. So you travel for work, you have to arrive. And if something's there which gives you that opportunity to, in your head, to forget for a moment that you might actually go to another city tomorrow, and it allows you to land properly, I love this the most.
And I think there's a super biological function that people want to eat. They need to eat and drink. And I think, the focus has been for too long on breakfast, to the point where
Buffet
these
breakfast.
enormous buffet breakfasts with huge wastage that
Massive
goes
waste.
with them, because people supposedly want this incredible choice, and no focus on anything else. So, most restaurants offering their nighttime, it just isn't. It really isn't. And I'm loving the fact that there's an honesty now where hotels are saying, actually, we don't need to do nighttime. We're in a city. There's lots of restaurants around us. Go out. Go out.
Speaking hotels, speaking development, speaking placemaking. So, in your point of view, with all the malls and with all the things going on, is this is this something we will see more of?
Yeah.
Proper hotels, repurposing of space into hotel or accommodation, something where...
And it's not just shopping centres, Will. I mean, office buildings, obviously, post-COVID office return has been lower, combating that with tourism, which is higher. So, you can see how changing an office building, especially if it's one that needs a huge refurbishment anyway to stay in the right level of rent for offices, why you wouldn't change it to a hotel. So there's this masses of real estate out there that is suitable for it. And I think understanding which brand delivers what is really important, because if you're an owner of a shopping centre and you've got the possibility to put a hotel in, then you probably don't want it to have 3 or 4 restaurants, because you've also got a load of restaurants as well. And that sounds basic, but actually, then what sort of customer do you want? Well, it's probably not going to be 5-star. That would be in the Middle East. It would be in GCC. It probably wouldn't be with us, because in Western Europe, you want the transit customer. You want the expo customer. You want the messe customer. When you look at what happened in Hamburg a couple of weeks back with Internorga, volumes of people coming and enjoying, and they were eating in lots of different places. So whether it was Radisson Blu or Motel 1 or 25 hours, whatever, they maybe ate once in their hotel and they were eating in 2 or 3 other locations in the city. But they create the nighttime economy, which drives so much more.
Comes back to one of our favorite topics, and I think we can close off with this, is regardless the development, regardless the part of it, the hotel or the food hall, whatever we have talked about in the past, is you need to think of what is it, what's the curation of it. You cannot just plug something in and say, now I have a hotel and that's great. I need to look into what's my customer, what's my environment, who am I catering for, and then build that for that particular customer, right?
Each of those plugins plays a part to create that ecosystem. You can just stick a hotel in, but then you'll just get the basic return from it. I think I would say the sum of the parts can actually be much, much greater if you plug them in properly and you think about how they're working together.
Great.
And I think on that point,
we can close this session off.
Pretty much done. Thank you
very
so
much for listening.
Really good to see you all.
We'll see each other
Take
again.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.